Hello, I'm Michael Coliani, Public Affairs and Media Relations Director for your Arizona Game and Fish Department. And today on Arizona Wildlife Views, a look at how Arizona game and fish biologists take to the treetops in an effort to help identify and monitor young bald eagles. Plus, a look at how fly fishing in the White Mountains is helping to bring healing to survivors of cancer. We've got all these stories and more. Arizona Wildlife Views starts right now.
Arizona Wildlife Views is brought to you by the sale of hunting and fishing licenses and the Heritage Fund, lottery dollars working for wildlife. Some projects made possible by the Sport Fish and Wildlife Restoration Fund.
Game and fish biologists have lots of tools in their tool bag when it comes to protecting wildlife. Today we'll take a closer look at why biologists banned baby bald eagles and how it helps them track these beautiful creatures.
On a rainy Monday in May of 2023, weather was threatening plans to ban a bald eagle nestling.
A little bit of rain we can handle, but mostly looking for lightning.
So we're at Shoalo Lake. We're proceeding to the bald eagle nest here, which is just down at the other end of the lake. We got a good spot right now where the rain is let up, so we're looking good at the moment. So right here in this tall snag is their old nest, the one they've been using that we can't climb.
Now the bald eagles have moved their nest to a live tree that's safe to climb. During nesting season, part of the lake close to the nest is closed to the public.
Just gives the eagles a little bit of buffer between their nesting activities and the human activities that go on out here, like boating and fishing and kayaking and stuff. So it just gives them a little extra space.
Here in Arizona, we have a small, kind of isolated population of them. It's important to us to make sure that, these nesting attempts are successful, and we're doing everything that we can to make sure that we're helping the species. I'll be climbing up to the nest. Once I get there, I'll grab the nestling. The adults will often fly around, they'll make some noise. They're not happy about the situation, but they're not going to try to come after us or anything. Each climb is a little bit different. You never quite know what to expect.
Getting into this nest is not going to be straightforward, just warning you.
The nest is probably about chest height, so it was a little bit difficult to reach the nestling, so I ended up using a stick to kind of corral it towards me, but it worked out.
Secured.
All right, buddy boy. Yeah, okay. He was feisty, yeah. Once I could grab his feet, I had good control of him, but he definitely didn't want to get the hood on. He was trying to bite me and...
Ready, pull in.
Yep.
Go.
After the nestling is secured in a padded duffel bag, Jennifer carefully lowers it to Kyle.
We try to ban the nestlings when they're about 6 weeks old, 5.5 to 6 weeks old.
And then grab those legs with your right hand.
They're old enough that they can handle a little bit of stress being away from their parents for, an hour or two. But young enough that they don't have it in their mind that they can jump out of that nest. They're not ready to jump.
They're halfway towards fledgling age, so they're not even close to thinking about flight yet. Left leg, lateral tarsus, 10.8. So anything under 12.5 is a male.
Okay.
Anything above that is a female. Females are bigger.
Okay.
They get a silver U.S. Fish and Wildlife band, but also a blue visual ID band.
The blue band is easier to read from a distance, and it will help biologists identify the eagle throughout its lifetime.
I'm going to measure the beak.
And we're able to really keep track of where our birds are moving around throughout the state, or if they end up breeding, nesting in the state, we can tell exactly where they're born and get a really good idea of life history and what's going on with the population.
He's right at 3 kilograms. It's pretty good.
After the nestling has been banded, Bill, a local resident who's been monitoring the nest, poses for a photo with the young eagle.
So we just try to douse some water to cool him down. One male nestling, he looked good. He was 3 kilograms, which is good for a male. Looked like he had a full crop, so that's that kind of pouch in their throat where they store food. So that meant he had a lot to eat today, so that was also a good sign.
It was a pretty good looking nest. Didn't have any fishing line or any hazards in it, which was great.
When it's about 12 weeks old, this young bald eagle will be ready to fly. Until then, he relies on Mom and Dad, who will return to the nest soon after the biologists have left the area.
Mission accomplished. It's good to be done. It never gets old.
When we give you your bag, you're going to take them out, put on your waders first.
In the cool, breezy sunshine of May in Eager, Arizona, a group of women have come together to experience fly fishing as medicine.
It's like a pair of jammies. Yeah, this is like your footy pajamas. This is like, yeah.
First time you've ever tried on waders? Totally. And I didn't understand how they work. I wondered how the water wouldn't get in your boots, but yes.
How did it feel? Oh, it's so diamond.
Feel pretty puffy. No, but they're great. I can't wait to try.
This is the mission of Casting for Recovery, to enhance the lives of survivors and thrivers of breast cancer through wellness retreats that connect women to each other and to nature.
I think they're doing amazing. They've got the rods ready. It just, it's not going to be very much longer before they're going to be in the water.
There's such a sisterhood and a camaraderie between the women. Even the stories are different. Each journey's different. But meeting them and talking with them, it eases the pain of your journey, somehow sharing it.
It is so beautiful up here.
Yes, that lawn should be going
so great to be
whoever
all these women that are sharing some of the same challenges.
All of that bonding and talking and getting their stories out there, it's like regurgitating all their anger to people who understand and can give back and regurgitate back. And it starts happening in those group texts. And it happens out here, it happens during casting, it happens in every minute they're out here. Even at the lunch table just now, that's the conversation. Well, did you take this? Did you do this? And they gain knowledge from each other. It's just a really beautiful thing.
And even though the women are surrounded by others, the beautiful setting, the X-Diamond Ranch, provides opportunity for solitude and reflection, opportunity to immerse yourself into the meditation that is fly fishing.
The PTSD that you have from breast cancer, because there's a lot of it, it eases. It somehow disappears while you're out there fishing. It's magical. Nature and fishing and just being.
I am a 2-time breast cancer survivor. Both instances were in my 30s. I think breast cancer is the sisterhood no one wants to be a part of, and it was feeling really lonely. And being able to talk to other women who had been through maybe different treatments but understood kind of the emotions and conversations that you have with your doctors was really important, because I was feeling very isolated in that sense. I've never come out of the stream and had a leech on me, so no worries about leeches. I'm not a fisher person, not an angler. I like the outdoors, but not necessarily fishing. It was definitely outside my comfort zone. Just being in nature, feeling the wind, learning to cast, feeling my body being able to do things I didn't think it could do, with using my arm in with the casting, not being afraid, and just kind of owning the moment.
It renews me. Just being out in the sound, in the green, and with the wildlife, the birds, the ducks, the fish. When you bring them out, they're just beautiful. It just fills me with joy to see, and you know. But the sounds here are amazing. That running water, it just really, it makes me happy.
Just the birds and the presence, everything around you, you can't help but feel that something's changing and changing inside you while you're there. And you get up here, you can either be miserable because you don't know how to handle the silence, or you can be refreshed and absorb that solitude and feel it around you. And again, it just empowers you and gives you the strength to go back to the busy city if you need to, and be there. It was really empowering, and being in nature, and again, being present and feeling the breeze, watching the fish, getting your first bite. Was amazing.
And I just love the people I meet, and my phone is full of new friends and people that I relate to, and I would help. I would throw my coat in the muddy puddle to help them across. I care. This is my purpose. And that's what I told my son. This is my purpose now. I didn't have one before.
To start preparing our dish with our quail, we have to start preparing our stuffing. And in our stuffing, we are putting chorizo, but this is a little bit different than Southern Arizona or Sonoran style chorizo. This chorizo that we use in our restaurant comes from Spain. It's an Iberco chorizo. An Iberco ham, or pork from Spain, is fed wild acorns. So these are raised in the mountains in Spain. They're a smaller black hog, and they're eating acorns for their diet. So it's got a real unique flavor, real high in fat content, more of a muscular, lean pig than the American hogs that we have out here. Has a great flavor, imparts a lot of flavor into the stuffing, and adds a little bit of southwestern taste that actually comes from Spain. So we're kind of infusing the two continents together. But we'll start off making our stuffing. We get a hot pan, and we'll get our butter in there. We got 4 ounces of butter, 2 ounces of diced yellow onion, 2 ounces of diced celery, 2 ounces of diced carrots, and then we have our chorizo. So you want to have a hot pan anytime you're sauteing. You don't want to start off with a cold pan. If you start off with a cold pan, you're not really sauteing, you're more boiling than sauteing. This will get a higher heat on the vegetables. It'll bring out more sweetness in the vegetables and get a little caramelization going on. So you want to saute your vegetables until they're a little bit al dente. They don't need to be fully cooked because you're going to finish baking this in your quail. So we got our vegetables sauteed. We'll add our breadcrumbs, and we make this bread fresh at the Cork. The darker bread is made with the mesquite flour, and the other one is our rye sourdough. So saute your bread a little bit. And if you have any old bread at your house, it's getting stale or hard, it's better just to unwrap that and let it air out and dry out. If you keep it in a package, it's just going to go moldy on you. If you dry it out, you can make some stuffing with it. So take your old bread, dice that up, and you can let that air out and air dry to make your stuffing. Or if you're in a hurry, you could put that in the oven at 250, 300 degrees for about 20 minutes and dry out your bread first. After you saute your bread, add your chicken stock. About 8 ounces of chicken stock. And you'll want to bring that to a boil. And a little Southwest flavor, we're adding fresh cilantro. And this is a little bit of our seasoned salt. Bring that to a boil, incorporate all your flavors. And you can take it off the heat, cover that with the lid, and let that sit for about 15 minutes to cool so we can start preparing our quail. Now that we got our stuffing done, we're going to start preparing our elote sauce. Our elote sauce is going to go with roasted corn. If you leave the husk on it, it takes a longer time to prepare it, and you don't get quite as much charred flavor on the corn. So we like to remove the husk first, get your grill on high heat, and get a nice char on it and blacken some of the corn. Gives it a good roasted flavor, brings out some of the sugar in the corn and helps caramelize that to make it even sweeter than it already is. After you've roasted your corn, you want to remove it from the fire, let it cool for a little bit so you can handle it with the knife, and then we're going to cut the sides off the corn to use for our sauce. Now to cut the sides off the corn, you want to get a nice flat bottom on it. Start with leveling that off so that you can hold the corn nice and still. Then you want to just go down the side of the corn towards the cob and slowly cut down until you remove all the corn. So turn the corn a little bit and keep slicing it off the cob. If you got a small bowl, you can put it inside a small bowl and it keeps your corn from going everywhere. As my corn's trying to run away here as we're on the side of a mountain. After you have your corn removed, we'll start sauteing the rest of our ingredients and add our corn to incorporate it to our elote sauce. To start preparing our elote sauce, you want to have a hot saute pan so that we can start putting our butter in there. We got 4 ounces of butter. Two ounces of shallots. 2 ounces of sliced garlic. Now you want to saute your shallots and garlic until they're a little bit al dente. This is a white cream sauce, so we're not trying to brown the shallots and the garlic. And once we got our shallots and garlic sauteed a little bit, add a little bit of chicken base or chicken bouillon to your pot and incorporate that with the butter and the shallots. And then we want to add a little bit of white wine to it. We're going to add a little flour and incorporate that to make a pan roux with our wine. And this starts thickening your sauce up before you add your heavy cream. Then you want to start adding your heavy cream. Slowly incorporate that with your roux and your wine. Keep stirring it slowly. You can use a whisk if you like to help stir it in. But it takes a little bit of time to heat up the cream and the roux so that you don't get any lumps in it. So just take your time, keep stirring it to incorporate it. And the good thing about doing it this process is you can kind of control how thick you want to make your sauce by using as much heavy cream as you like. If you want it thinner, you can add a little more. Now if you want to leave it more rustic, you can add your roasted corn directly to this sauce here and not blend it up. But if you want a smoother sauce, you can blend it up with an immersion blender. So we'll add our corn to a pot here. And we'll add the rest of our heavy cream. And then we'll bring that to a boil and thicken it up with our roux wine mixture and heavy cream. So now you want to incorporate the two together. Then we'll bring this mixture to a boil, and with an immersion blender, a hand blender, you can submerge it into the pot and blend your corn. Be careful not to have enough room in the pot. You don't want your liquid all the way to the top when you're using one of these. And then slowly move and agitate what you're blending around with the immersion blender. This will dissolve all the corn, garlics, and shallot and give you one smooth flavor. If you want more of a rustic flavor, a little bit more of a roller coaster ride when you're eating it, you can leave it chunky, more rustic style, and then as you're chewing on it, you'll get little pops of garlic, little pops of corn, and little pops of shallot to it. So let's blend this down to a nice smooth consistency. Now that our elote sauce is blended, you can just leave that on a low heat until you're ready for dinner. Cover it. You don't want to scorch it. Don't leave it too hot. If it's going to be a while before you prepare dinner, just take it off the heat and warm it back up on a low heat to a simmer. Now that our stuffing is cooled off, we can start stuffing our quail with our stuffing. So at the restaurant, when you come down to the Cork, we debone the inside of the quail for you. So when you come in for dinner, you're not having to fight with all the small bones or pick any of those out when you're dining. So we got a nice cavity we start off with. The only bones we leave on there are the end wing bones and the leg bones. And it makes for a nice meal when you're coming in to fine dine and you're not having to fight with all the little pieces of bone. So we start stuffing at the bottom and the top. And then you want to kind of shape your quail, get enough stuffing in there and get a nice shape to your quail. And then after you have it fully stuffed, we'll put that in our oven and finish baking that off. This is a small camping oven I take with me hunting that goes on top of your Coleman stove. It's made by Coleman, and you want to preheat that to 350 degrees to start roasting your quail off. So we'll take our quail, our stuffed quail, put it in our baking dish, and then we'll put it in our oven and get it ready for dinner. All right. So after your quail's been in the oven for about a half an hour, you want to double check the temperature on it. Make sure you hit 165 degrees internal temperature in the stuffing to make sure everybody's safe and we got a fully cooked bird. Be careful when you remove it from the oven, it will be hot. Take it out of the oven, and when you insert the thermometer, you want to insert it to the center of the bird so that you get the internal temperature. Now that we have our quail fully cooked, we can start preparing our plate. I'm going to a hot saute pan or a small pot with some butter, and then we're going to add some fresh spinach to that. And you gently want to wilt the spinach. You don't want to overcook it. And this will be a base for our quail. We're going to take our grilled veg and go around the plate with our grilled vegetables. Help complete our dish. You can grill whatever vegetables you like. You want to add eggplant or mushrooms. You can add carrots, and if you want to parboil potatoes, you can even add those and cut those up and add those to the plate too. So we got our grilled vegetables on our plate. Now we got our wilted spinach ready. We'll place that in the center of the plate. Make a nice little nest for our quail. And we'll take our little quail here, stuffed quail, add them to our plate. And then we'll finish the dish off with our elote sauce.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of our show. Until next time, remember, get out there and enjoy those Arizona wildlife views.
To subscribe to Arizona Wildlife Views magazine, which includes the Arizona Wildlife Views calendar, visit www.azgfd.gov/magazine.